All right, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about online training versus in-person training. So with online training, there's some benefits. There's also some cons. Same thing with in-person training. Number one thing that dictates somebody starting a program is going to be what? The cost, right? How much does it cost? So I would say, generally speaking, the online training, the online coaching is going to be more affordable than the in-person, right? So, but that's not always the case. But again, that's a big factor. So let's say, just for example, myself, let's say I charge $300 for online coaching, right? And then $500 for in-person. So the similarities might be that you're going to get a workout program, you're going to get a meal plan or macros that you need to follow on a daily basis with either, right? The main difference with the online and the in-person is the in-person component. So some people, they learn a little differently. Online, I might be able to send my clients videos, pictures, things like that, visual aids to show them, teach them, help them with the workouts, with the movements. Whereas in person, someone may choose that because they're more hands-on, right? So they'll need you to push their shoulder back. So you might use a cue and say, well, open the chest up or open the shoulder. And then they're like, well, what do you mean? I don't get it. So again, you can just, hey, is it okay if I push your shoulder back? They're like, yeah. So you push it back. They're like, oh, okay. And so that real-time feedback can definitely be the difference or that factor that somebody's looking for when it comes to in person. Whereas online, you don't really get that. Maybe the client messages you and you can't get back to them for 2 or 3 hours, maybe even a day, right? So it just depends. And then a lot of people struggle with motivation. So when you have that in-person session and that person knows that you're going to be there on time, that they better be there on time, it's just a little different. Again, online, you don't know if they're doing the plan, if they're following the program. You may not know what they're eating. They may not be communicating with you. They may not be checking in, whatever the case might be. In person, it's a lot harder for the client to avoid you or to run or to not answer questions, right? Where, again, online, it's like you might message them and you don't hear back from them. So there's some pros and cons, but I would encourage anyone who is starting an online coaching program or an in-person program to reach out to that coach, reach out to that trainer, and also maybe contact some of their former clients or their current clients and ask them what do they like about the program, what do they like about the coach, what are some things that are working for them, or whatever the case might be. So definitely do your research. That's one thing I always recommend before starting a program. Go and follow that coach's social media, right? So check them out on Facebook or Instagram, or even check out their YouTube and see if you can get a better feel for who they are and how they operate, right? So so again, online versus in person. Now, I don't have a coach at this time. I have been working with the posing coach for my men's physique posing, and we worked a little bit online as far as video calls, but we started in person. So that's another thing. Maybe you might want to start in person and then transition to online once you get a good feel for your coach, and once you get a good feel for the workout program and the movements and things like that. So it's not that you can't transition from one to the other. You can, but at the end of the day, it's going to be what's most beneficial for you. If I were to work with the coach, I would probably, I guess it kind of depends, but I would probably go online, just because my schedule is very, jam-packed, and I have to be flexible with my training clients. So if I had a coach in person, um, yeah, it might be a little more difficult for me, just in terms of availability and whatnot. But again, online coaching versus in person. It's not for me to decide. It's not for your coach to decide. It's for you to decide what's best for you, what your needs are, what you want, and again, what your goals are. So if you just want someone to help you with your nutrition, then maybe you don't need in person. Maybe online would be ideal for you. But if you're doing something, let's say like something real technical like powerlifting or weightlifting, where you're learning Olympic lifts, right? Or you're learning something like martial arts. Like you probably need to be in person. Online, I don't think it's really gonna cut it. So, as I said before, and I just can't stress it enough, what works for you? That's really what it's all about. So again, when it comes to choosing a program, I would encourage you to do some research, find out more about your coach, what their skill sets are, what they're not good at, and because it's not out of the question to work with multiple coaches. Maybe you have a coach specifically for your nutrition, and then you have another coach or a trainer for your workouts. Like, that's okay, right? As long as everybody's on the same page, you're getting the desired results. They're getting what they need as a coach. Like, it's really all good. So appreciate you tuning in. Definitely get some training, get some coaching, get the coaching that's right for you. So I'll see you next time, and thanks for tuning in.